Hello everyone, hope you've had a great week so far. Hope the weekend went well for you. It's been rather busy for me, so quick and dirty video tonight. 10 tips in, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. 10 minutes, 10 tips. Not super world-ending or world-beating things, but just 10 things to be aware of in a match as you're playing. I have the Mustang 1, it's a 4v4. Fairly even teams, so not too worried about that. Nobody's going to get raffle stomped here. It's going to be about how we play and how well we know our job in the match. And we're going to go for the middle as a light fighter. It's probably where we can do the most damage to begin with. And we're going to see, you know, this is such an important zone in here anyway, especially with the mining plant and the command center. You know, I don't have the ability to cap those quickly by myself, so the middle part is where I should go, at least for me. So I'm going to dive into the fray here and see what kind of trouble I can get into. So lesson number 1, save your planes where you can. If you see an enemy under attack or a friendly plane under attack, tip number 1 is try and save that plane, because then there'll be an enemy dead and you'll have 2 planes instead of 1. Otherwise it'll be, you know, odds against you. So right here, one of my bots is in trouble. I'm going to burn down his tail, and now we're up 1, right? Grand melee over here. If you're watching the mini map, which you should be, you can tell we're outnumbered. Okay, number 2, nice little defensive flying there. I've been paying attention to the mini map, and I can see behind me is a whole bunch of multi-role icons. So I know what's behind me is not one of the enemy light fighters, it's a multi-role, which means I'm more maneuverable than it, guaranteed. So I'm going to do a little tuck and roll, and I'm just going to put us into a vertical loop. And here's your next lesson. Don't bring your multi-roll to the middle zone. With some few exceptions, multi-rolls are not very maneuverable and not very fast, at least in the sense of being great energy fighters to dive and pull away, right? And the 47 actually has decent energy capability. It's not a great dogfighter, though. In that case, he turned, right? So immediately, I know I've got him. But, you know, multi-rolls don't necessarily do well in middle zones. There's too much of a melee. They can't really mix it up all that well. And so your best plan of action in a multi-role is to work the edges of a map, not come in the center, work the edges. Think if this guy had dropped bombs on the mining plant, they'd already be halfway there. Or if he had headed to a different zone, they'd already have it capped. Or if he had, you know, done a run through here, but then pushed onto the command center, maybe, you know, shot down 1 aircraft or freed 1 friendly and then kept going on, that'd be better. Because right here, it's going to end poorly for him. So generally speaking, don't bring your multi-rolls to the middle of the map unless you've got plenty of extra support. I just put him in a vertical loop because I knew that was going to be hard and bleed his speed, and indeed it did. Low yo-yo there to undercut him, by the way. Did high yo-yo last time, that's a low yo-yo. Now he's down. Now I'm also watching the mini-map. There's 4 planes behind me, and here's your next tip. Go low. Go under enemy planes, especially heavies where you can. There's only so far down they can put the nose, and so you can sometimes get away unscathed. Now here's your next pro tip. I just got 1 crit and 2 crits from a 4-gun turret that's 303 machine gun. So I don't think many people know this, but the crit chance of turrets is not tied to the caliber of gun. It is generally speaking in planes, but not for turrets. Turrets do not have a separate crit factor built into the statistics. You can check that on Game Models 3D if you want. It doesn't exist. So that's one of the reasons Beaufighter 5 is so deadly, is because it has the same crit chance as any turret, even though it's 4 tiny machine guns. And hence 2 turrets or 2 crits right there. And this guy is smart. He wheels back around. I'm low. I have no altitude. I have no speed. I have no energy. I've got a busted engine. I'm dead. Right? There's just no two ways about that. And good for him for picking up on that and dealing with it. So I'm going to come back in the center. Fortunately, it's a short respawn timer, which is lovely. I don't know what the cyber's random or what. If you guys know, let me know. But I'm going to get a chance to play Energy Fighter, which is really what the Mustang 1 is better at anyway, and dive on it. Of course, I can't aim, so there's that issue as well. Don't turn in your heavy fighters. Again, just don't do it, because as soon as you turn in your heavy fighters, you're going to lose. His best bet was to straighten out and let that 4-gun monster turret eat away my HP. And instead he decided to turn, so his turret had to turn. It couldn't lock me in, and I lost, well, virtually nothing attacking him. But don't turn fight in your heavy fighters. I don't know why that's a mystery for some people, but it seems to be, even for some experienced pilots, a mystery. Just don't turn. Keep going straight. You're better off that way in a heavy fighter. So, all right, my tip right here is get altitude. Nothing was going on in the match. If nothing's going on in the match, get altitude. That's always going to serve you well. It's always going to help you out. It's always going to bank some energy for you to use. And so because of that, I'm able to get in here. And I pull off of him because I'm worried about this enemy right here in front of me, and because I was watching the minimap. Were you watching the minimap? I had a friend. Behind me is the Zero, and so when I saw him turning to take care of my tail, I just played it straight. I kept going straight. Because I was going straight, he could go straight, and he could burn down the enemy aircraft very quickly, which was already half dead, by the way. So straighten out is my next tip. If you got an enemy on your tail and someone's trying to help you, don't keep turning. It makes it harder for them to shoot them down. Keep going straight. Your friend will burn them down quickly, and all will be well. All right, next thing. If you got decent energy and you see an enemy heavy coming in, which I do, I'm going to dive under to get even more speed and energy, and I'm going to belly up attack. Attacking from underneath is very effective if you have the energy to carry it off. He can't see me, his turret can't do anything to me, and by the time his turret can wheel into me, he's half dead. Also, bots are stupid. That's like a bonus tip. But that bot, I don't know if you just saw that, ran into me even though I wasn't turning, and he had plenty of options and ability to change direction. But, you know, bots are dumb. It is what it is. So. Alright, I am low on HP. I gotta get that back. We're also up 3 zones. They have 0 capture points. Again, this is part of not bringing your multi-roll to the middle, right? So they're finally able to cap the mining plant, which is 3 zones in itself. So now it's kind of tied, but we have a very big lead, so that's good. The middle appears to be in good hands, so I'm going to go defend the command center because I see a couple of player pilots going there. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some altitude, some energy, and chuck myself on over there. Initially, I'm going for the P-40. And then I realize, as I see the P-40, no, there's actually 2 enemy planes over here, including the P-47. So always dive on the trailing plane. This is my next tip for you. If I dove on the P-40, the P-47 would be on my tail. And so I don't want to put an enemy in my sights if possible, so I'm going to dive on this guy first and try to clear him out. And I do put myself in a little bit of pickle here because you can see there's the bot aircraft behind me, but it's a heavy and we're turning, so he's not going to be able to lock on very easily. Next pro tip, what are you afraid of? Always be asking, what is your greatest fear in a zone? The P-40 pilot should have recognized that I am the biggest threat here, another player, not an air defense aircraft. He should have come off of the air defense aircraft and burned me down in a head-on. He's got those 650 calibers. He's specialized, so presumably he would have won that. He's also got a little more HP than me. But he decided to go after the ADA instead, and he turned and gave me his tail, and now he's gone. So always be asking, what are we afraid of? What's the biggest fear? What's the biggest threat? And I was, and he didn't recognize that. Let's back up a second, because there was something else in this as well. After I was done turn fighting on this guy, jumping ahead a little bit, I go on this guy, right, I kill him, and you'll notice I do a little turn fighting with him. And so I'm bleeding my energy. As I'm diving, I'm expending energy, but he pulls into a turn, which is probably the right thing to do, trying to cause me to overshoot, but fortunately I'm able to do that, but I have to break all my energy. I rudder down. I go from 420 kph to 480, so I rudder down to get some speed back, some energy back. And if you've been turn fighting, you can do that. Use your rudder controls, point your nose to the ground, pick up some speed and energy, and then you can kind of recover a little bit easier. So, and then the last tip is coming up right after we burn down this poor bot heavy. And that is, if you're watching the mini-map again, there's 2 enemies coming in, including a human pilot and a P-51. He's going to dive on me and shoot. He can't finish me in the run. I'm going to loop over on him. And when you're trying to play energy fighting, notice he's about 577 meters. He's going to pass me, and then he's going to loop over and take another pass at me. That's the right move, but you got to be far enough away to get your guns on target. And unfortunately, he pulls the pass too early. So you'll see he's already turning into a vertical loop to try and get back around on me, and it's not going to work, right? He's not going to be able to get there in time. Generally speaking, good pro tip, safe distance. If you're energy fighting, dive on a plane, get out to 1,000 meters, and then turn around. 1,000 meters generally gives you enough distance to be able to put your guns back on target and and give you a fighting chance, especially if you are a fighter, you know, with heavy forward firepower, decent HP. You want that head-on attack. Go out to 1,000, loop over, and come back. You know, he went out to 577 and looped over, and it cost him. So there you go. There's some quick tips for tonight, some good things to hopefully help you out, and maybe you can put one of them to work this week. I do have at least one more video for you this week. I'm gone this weekend, so probably no bonus video this week, sadly. But I am working on another one for you as well. If there's anything you'd like to see, you are welcome to reach out to me, and I will do what I can to accommodate you. And again, if you see me in the client, I'm happy to fly with you as well. And if you have any feedback, let me know. It would be good to know what that is in a positive, constructive way. I'm always willing to hear that if it's done in a positive, constructive way, so that I can learn to be a better pilot, and everyone who's watching this channel can learn to be better pilots as well. So have a great week. I hope it goes well for you, and I will see you in the skies.